Arne. Yeah. Good coach, really good coach.
Arne Slot has kept it all inside this season. But finally, the release of the emotion.
When Klopp announced he would be leaving Liverpool, it shocked the world.
I will leave the club at the end of the season.
But he let the fans know that the man coming after him was more than ready to take charge.
Good coach, good guy. Looking forward for the club if he's the solution.
On his farewell day, as he sang Arne Slot's name,
Arne Slot! La, 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 la.
Liverpool fans wanted to believe him, but there was a lot of uncertainty.
Very slightly underwhelming is what some of the Liverpool fans are thinking. Is that harsh?
Who was this bald Dutch guy that seemed to appear out of nowhere?
Is that the resume of somebody to lead a club the size of Liverpool back to the Premier League title and the Champions League?
No one really knew what to expect.
He's a new coach, nobody knows him.
I mean, obviously we didn't know too much about him.
Yet what happened next was beyond anything even the most optimistic Liverpool supporter could have imagined.
The only thing I can do now is send my appreciation to Jürgen. So there we go. Jürgen Klopp! Arne Slot has marched right in, and he has cracked it first up.
Under the Dutchman, the Reds are playing wonderful football.
What I love about Slot is he's, as you talked about, he's taken this team and he's given them a bit of a more methodical approach, kind of go through the gears, but kind of grind through the gears.
Pure domination. He's taking care of every detail and transforming the game.
If we have a team meeting, I don't talk hours about the opponent. I just talk about ourselves.
Leading the army of red to win after win.
They showed great resilience, great character, and all credit to the coach.
Even pressuring the great Pep Guardiola to evolve. That is Arne Slot. When Liverpool won the Premier League in 2019-2020, it felt like history had finally been put right. Jürgen Klopp had built a monster of a team that pressed harder, ran faster, and played with more intensity than almost anyone had ever seen in England. It was Liverpool's first league title in 30 years.
John, has been 30 years of hot, about to end. Champions again!
And even though it happened in empty stadiums during lockdown, it was unforgettable.
A team of history makers, a team of record breakers. Now, Liverpool are back where they belong.
Fast forward and Liverpool did it again, this time under Arne Slot.
Arne Slot's Liverpool have reached the promised land.
At first, many fans didn't know what to expect from Klopp's successor. A bald Dutch guy coming from Feyenoord didn't exactly scream title-winning material, especially after looking at the last bald Dutch guy who had come to the Premier League.
I don't think anyone would say, if they're being transparent, that they thought this would be possible.
Well, I think we all thought it was such a difficult act to follow, the job that Jürgen Klopp did here at Anfield, and we were wondering exactly how Arne Slot was going to take it on.
But by May of 2025, Slot had joined an elite group, managers who won the Premier League in their very first season. Now that the dust has settled, the obvious question is, how do Klopp's champions compare to Slot's? In many ways, Klopp walked so that Slot could run, as the backbone of his title winners helped out Slot tremendously. Alisson, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, and Salah were 5 players who were crucial under the German, and they remained equally as important under the Dutch Lex Luthor. But despite some of the familiar faces, the vibe between the two title-winning teams could not be more different. Klopp's team was chaos and fire. Slot's was more about calm and control. Klopp had his team pressed like madmen high up the pitch. Slot prefers his players to sit a little deeper, stay compact, and pick and choose when they press. That's not my opinion, by the way. The stats show that. In the 2019-2020 season, Liverpool pressed 18 times per match on average. Under Slot, that number was down to 12. Recoveries and interceptions also dropped sharply. Against Manchester City away in 2019, Klopp's side had more than 50% of the ball and pressed with their defensive line 35 meters from goal. Meanwhile, Slot's Liverpool beat City 2-0 with only 34% possession and a much deeper line. Klopp's teams strangled you to death, like that thing in The Simpsons. Slot's teams let you breathe, but then punish you when you make a mistake. Perhaps the biggest difference is in midfield. Klopp had Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum doing the dirty work. Not a ton of chance creation from those three. Their job was to run, tackle, and make sure that Salah, Mane, and Firmino could do the damage. Slot's midfield was completely the opposite. McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai were all comfortable on the ball. And now they've added Florian Wirtz to that midfield. Don't get it twisted, they work hard too, but they play risky passes, switch positions on the fly, and take more chances. The numbers once again back that up. Klopp's main midfielders created 60 chances in open play during the 2019-2020 season. Slot's front three created over 100. That change gave Liverpool a different rhythm. They didn't dominate possession the same way Klopp's team did. As you can see, the average in possession went from 63% to 58%, but they are more dangerous on the break, with fast breaks doubling from 1 per match to 2.1. In other words, Slot's Liverpool may press less, but they attack faster and more creatively when they win the ball. Of course, we can't talk about Liverpool without talking about Mohamed Salah. He was brilliant in 2019-2020, but in the 2024-2025 season, he was on another level. Back then, he scored 19 goals and set up 10 more, but in the 2025 season, he had 28 goals and 18 assists. To put into perspective, that's almost 60% of Liverpool's league goals in total. The problem with that was that Liverpool became very reliant on him. If he had a dip in form or was taken out of a match, they would really struggle. Under Klopp, Salah had Mane and Firmino sharing the load with him. Pause. Under Slot, he often looked like a single superstar carrying the attack. That, of course, has changed now drastically with the new acquisition. Liverpool's attack went from what seemed like a one-man army to the frickin' Avengers. Another big tactical change came from the fullbacks. Klopp built his Liverpool around Robertson and Trent bombing forward, delivering crosses and piling up assists. In the 2020 title-winning season, the two combined for 25 league assists. Under Slot, that number was in the single digits. Why? Well, because Slot didn't want them flying forward recklessly. Instead, he wanted his wingers to hug the touchline, while the fullbacks stay deeper or tuck into midfield to block the counters.
But the ideas of fullbacks or players playing close together is to have short passes which give limited time to the other team to defend, and you can switch play faster, of course.
It gave the team more control, but it also put more creative responsibility on Salah and the midfielders. This change in role is actually probably why Salah's numbers exploded in the 2025 season. Without the fullbacks dominating the wide areas, everything flew through him. If you look at the points and wins, Klopp's 2019-2020 side was crazy. They hit 99 points, and this was coming after a season where they got 97. Now, Slot's team didn't reach those heights. These guys won the league so early, they were going back and forth to Ibiza, while other teams were still playing important matches. Then you have to keep in mind that Klopp won the league after rebuilding Liverpool from scratch. He took them from 6th place and 62 points to the top of English football. Slot had a much smoother starting point. He inherited Klopp's foundation and then made his own smart tweaks. Now, I'm not saying that to make his achievements any less impressive. Many feared that Liverpool would collapse without Klopp, the same way United did after Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Instead, Slot kept them on top and immediately delivered them silverware. That's something that only Mourinho, Ancelotti, Pellegrini, and Conte have ever done before him. So which title means more? Klopp's feels historic, the end of a 30-year wait. Meanwhile, Slot's feels like proof that Liverpool are still there, still winning, and still evolving. Klopp built the house, but Slot is redecorating it. Different styles, different eras, but both managers are now part of Liverpool legend. Klopp gave the fans belief, Slot kept that dream alive. Now though, fans are beginning to see a real separation between the two eras. Under Klopp, Liverpool weren't a club that threw money around. They were very careful, very stingy.
Most of their time in charge, which is now over 15 years, they've run a balanced transfer budget, basically outs paying for ins.
The only time they spent big was back in 2018 when they brought in Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, and then again in 2023 with the big midfield rebuild. Outside of those moments though, Klopp had to squeeze every bit of quality out of the squad he had.
But what does Liverpool? We cannot act like them. It's not possible. Not possible.
While other clubs spent money for fun, Klopp was working with limited resources, turning okay players into good ones, and good players into greats.
It's not about me being surprised. I'm never surprised about the financial power of Chelsea or City or United. I'm long enough in the country to know that they always find a solution to do these kind of things.
Under Arne Slot, things are very different. FSG have changed their approach.
But I think it's fair to say we're seeing a complete change of strategic approach by Fenway now. They're making massive net investment.
The summer of 2025 was a statement. Liverpool broke record after record in the transfer market.
Tried to bring
new energy in, but also weapons, as you call it. And I think the players that we've brought in have shown that already in a few times we've trained together and the games we've...
Liverpool strong. Recruitment's been good.
Yeah, everything. I mean, it pains me to say it, but everything's been good.
They were no longer buying talented youngsters with the hope of developing them. This time they went straight for the best players available, ready-made stars to push the team to the next level. It was a new Liverpool. They were no longer going to be the stepping stone for Real Madrid. They were becoming more aggressive, more ambitious. Klopp never got that sort of financial backing. And to be honest, I don't know if he ever even wanted it.
And for us, it's our way. So we keep the team together. That's an important part of business as well.
He always believed in building slowly, coaching up players rather than buying the finished product. I mean, look at the teams he managed. But football moves fast, and under Slot, the club senses an opportunity. They see a chance not just to compete, but to dominate the Premier League for years to come. And especially after Slot's brilliant first season, the belief around him is stronger than ever. And it's funny, in many ways, Klopp saw this coming. In his final interviews, he was full of praise for Slot.
Because this is sensational club who deserves a manager full of energy, full of knowledge. What he has, this team plays really good football. That's what I know about him. I don't know him personally, but I know that his team is playing really good and exciting football. I liked it a lot.
I mean, who do you know leaving a job comes round and says, well, I'm basically leaving you with room for improvement? I mean, who does that?
He knew he was passing the torch to the right guy. How did he know? Maybe it's because their stories aren't all that different. Klopp wasn't a superstar player, but he worked his way into coaching and made his name in Germany. Slot's journey has been strikingly similar. A modest playing career, then a rise through coaching that brought him all the way to the top. He started his football career at an amateur side known as VV Bergentheim, then moved to FC Zwolle, where he was able to break into the first team as a 17-year-old. Initially, he struggled both with injuries and limited playing time. Eventually though, he figured it out, becoming a goal-scoring attacking midfielder, helping Zwolle clinch promotion back to the Eredivisie after 13 years. Slot had impressed and ended up going to NAC Breda. While he did help Breda finish 4th in the Eredivisie in his first season, their best league finish since 1956, it was obvious that he was destined for a role as a manager.
Did you always have that? I think I knew when I was quite young already that I wanted to become a coach or a manager.
His teammates said that he already started behaving like a coach in his final years as a player.
You were the one that really was the coach already then.
He wasn't the fastest or the most physical, but he excelled due to his football IQ, passing, and vision. Think about it, he was a slow, old-fashioned number 10, with the majority of his performances coming in the 2nd division of Dutch football.
As a player, there was always my lack of speed that always set the boundaries. I couldn't go higher because I simply wasn't fast enough.
But his limitations actually helped him see the team as a unit. His weaknesses were covered by his teammates like Edwin Graaf, who was willing to do the dirty work while Slot remained a more technical player. While Slot didn't have physical speed, he was quick with his decision making.
And speed of thinking was one of my qualities, I would say, as a player as well. That's why I always thought maybe I can become better as a manager than as a player.
According to The Athletic, often in the locker room, Slot would ask the manager questions. Why are we pressing this way? Why are we playing like this? How come we don't try this tactic?
You were the guy that was doing the talking. You were doing the discussions with the coach.
You see, even as a player, he had a vision for how he thought his team should play.
I always felt if one of my teammates played a certain ball, that would lead to a chance. And then I started thinking, hey, is there logic behind what I think is true?
With a career as a manager already being at the back of his mind, Slot moved on to the Cambuur club staff after he retired from playing in 2013. He initially worked as a youth coach for a year before he was promoted to becoming one of the assistant coaches. After the club was relegated from the Eredivisie in 2016, Slot became the interim head coach of the team along with Sipke Holshoff. The two had Cambuur playing such good football and getting such excellent results that they remained as head coaches for the remainder of the season. Slot and Holshoff helped Cambuur climb from 14th to 3rd place in the league, only narrowly missing out on promotion to the Eredivisie after losing in the playoffs. In the KNVB Cup, Cambuur reached the semi-finals for the first time in its club history, having knocked out the record winners Ajax. Even early in this stage of his managerial career, Slot showed that he had no fear, knocking out the biggest club in the Netherlands. But unfortunately, the club missed out on the final after losing on penalties. His time at Cambuur was important to his development, But Slot, he wanted to continue learning. In 2017, he left to go work for AZ Alkmaar to work as an assistant under John van den Brom. It's really a testament to Slot's eagerness and willingness to learn that he would leave Cambuur to learn from the manager that had just defeated him. Even early in his managerial career, people could see his potential. Alkmaar's technical director, Max Huybert, called Slot experienced, studious, innovative, and ambitious. So it came as no surprise that in December of 2018 it was announced that Slot would become Alkmaar's new head coach for the 2019-2020 season. Just as we have seen with his Liverpool team, Slot knows how to make an impact right away. He became the first coach to win 19 points in his first 8 Eredivisie games. They were defeating the Dutch giants like their 3-0 win over Feyenoord, 4-0 win over PSV, and a 2-0 win over Ajax. Then Slot helped Alkmaar reach the round of 32 in the Europa League. With how well he was managing, it was no surprise that bigger clubs came calling. Slot realized it was time for a move, so he ended up joining Feyenoord. Slot succeeded the experienced Dick Advocaat, who had left the club stagnant with his uninspiring football, and they needed someone like Slot to come in as the commander and help change their identity. And as we have seen time and time again, Slot knows how to make an immediate impact no matter where he goes. During his first season at Feyenoord, they reached the round of 16 in European football for the first time in 20 years. In the knockouts, they defeated Partizan, Slavia Prague, and Marseille to reach the final. Although they ended up losing in the final, Slot's impact was so noticeable. The team played with a high energy, destroying teams with an attacking style that mixed high pressing with possession. As a result, it came as no surprise that he won the Eredivisie Manager of the Year. That's just what he's done time and time again. He joins a club, succeeds the previous manager, and makes the team even better than before. He is doing the exact same thing at Liverpool. Imagine the heights this team can reach with someone like Slot in charge.
I want to create a culture and atmosphere that players like to be at this great ground.
His success with Feyenoord continued into the 2023 season, where they absolutely dominated the Eredivisie. They became league champions, the club's first league title since 2017. He was awarded the Eredivisie Manager of the Year award again, becoming just the 4th coach to win the award in consecutive years. Not only were Feyenoord winning, but Slot was showing just how good his man management is. Slot himself believes that 60% of coaching is the idea, and 40% of it is how well it's communicated. He ensured players clearly understood their role and tactics.
This is the idea I have now. How can I transmit this to my players? Make it really simple for them to understand the game in the same way as I thought I understood it.
Not only was he straightforward with the players, which they appreciated, but everything he told them came true. According to The Athletic, players were tired of having to play long balls over and over again in training before a match against Marseille. They asked Slot why they had to keep doing this, and he told them that he will explain later. Fast forward to the actual match, and Feyenoord were up 2-0 against Marseille, with both goals coming from long balls in behind their defense. Ever since that moment, well, the players had blind faith in him. Since they believed in his process, he was able to get the best out of them, promoting and developing young talents like Hartman and Mats Wiefer, who became Dutch internationals under his guidance. In fact, Wiefer was playing in the Dutch second tier before Slot seamlessly integrated him into the first team. He worked closely with the fitness teams to ensure players were physically prepared for his intense style of play, monitoring workload and easing off when necessary.
And I brought a performance coach, Ruben Peters, from Belgium, which is for me just as important as an assistant manager, because the performance side is getting more and more important in football, in my opinion, as well. So
Slot uses a lot of data to make his managerial decisions, a concept that he had taken interest in early in his career. Reports even indicated that when Slot began his managerial career, data sources weren't the best, so Slot and his team built their own. But even more important than this was the fact that Slot was super adaptable. I'm not talking about just being flexible with tactics, but also being able to seamlessly transition after big players leave your team. Despite losing stars like Sinisterra, Malacia, and Marco Senesi, Slot rebuilt the squad without a drop in performance, showcasing his ability to maximize the resources that he has.
Can get all, like the maximum out of the players.
He's always been someone that prioritizes a team over individual players. He cares about the army as a whole, not just individual soldiers.
I can show Mo Salah's actions or Lucio's or Cody's or all these players that can do special things. But yeah, that's what we have. But to do this, the work rate, that is what makes us hopefully different to other teams. And
you can still see it in his press conferences with Liverpool. He praises an individual player's performance, but immediately makes sure he follows it up by praising the entire team.
So of course, all the attention goes out to Mo and to Lucio, but that doesn't do justice to the other 9 and the ones that came in.
It's that exact mentality that helped Feyenoord win their 14th KNVB Cup. In just a short span of time, Slot had disrupted the hierarchy of Dutch football, outshining the big boys like PSV and Ajax despite working on a smaller budget. Pundits describe Slot as one of the greatest coaches in Feyenoord history. And of course, Liverpool had taken notice.
Some big names came before Slot, some very big names, but fans cite him as the best yet.
It made sense. Slot was an overachiever who had sparked a revolution. And I thank Liverpool for bringing this guy to the Premier League. His teams played direct football with a hunger for goals. A very similar profile to Jürgen Klopp. But unlike Klopp, Slot is described as a perfectionist, a control freak. It actually makes a lot of sense when you see how openly Slot has talked about being inspired by Pep.
And then I was lucky enough that in that period of time there was of course the Barcelona team from Pep Guardiola. Yeah. I saw that they did 10 out of 10 times the pattern that we, my teammates and me, did 2 out of 10 times maybe.
It was always hard to follow after an icon, but Liverpool have found the right guy. Slot understands the values of this club. He is all about the team as a unit, embodying the you never walk alone mentality. Sure, he doesn't have the energetic and loud persona of Klopp, but he doesn't have to. He's not trying to be Klopp 2.0. He's carving his own path. His calmer style is working. He's giving the team control. Who knows how much Slot can achieve with this team, but for now, the team is moving in the right direction. Calmer, stronger, and more controlled. In fact, a lot of Liverpool's calmness comes from their captain, the Rock at the back. To see Van Dijk's incredible journey from an unknown talent to becoming the very best center back that we've ever seen in the Premier League, you have to check out this video right here.